side. And it wasn't Malbs there. It was actually Barton who was playing in that matchup. So, yeah. I mean,
That's
I'd
a
consider
while
both
ago.
them pretty equal, right? But yeah, it has been a while ago. We'll see. It looks like we're going to jump into the pistol round here. So let's get into the action. But still, I would say Nouns have a better chance of finding success here on Inferno than at Overpass. But Team 1, they're far from out of this one, let's say. Good nades tossed forward here. Pesa going to go down to 4 HP and Maluk at 51. Nouns Esports are not going to follow it up with a push, though. They fall back. I don't think they knew how much damage they did. And now Maluk and IDK get 3 combined. George finally responds. And the good news here for Nouns Esports, Austin, is that Maluk and Pesa, the low HP players, are still standing. Will it even matter? Because Malbs connects on the head of Jazz Pimp.
And he might connect onto the head of George, too. George is going to go back for the fight in towards mid, and he's going to win that duel against Maluk. So there at least is something good for him. He's got a road towards B as well, so he can get the bomb down, try and get this plant, and hold off the post, which is very viable for him. It's definitely a situation that he can win. With Pesa being so low as well, it would be the ace clutch for George. It wouldn't be his first pistol ace, though. We've seen this before, back in previous iterations of this roster. So, and I believe back on the Triumph days, too, George was able to pull this off. So, he likes the pistol round pressure.
Yeah.
Wait, there's no kid for Team 1. He's only got to buy about 25 seconds.
George. Here's the footsteps, peeking around, takes down Mobs, leaves only Pesa with 4 HP. It should be a win here for George, but he cannot connect with that ever-important shot. Just needs one. Bomb probably can't be defused, so I think he's bought enough time. Good job from George. And he even gets the frag afterwards. So Nouns Esports get the round victory. Not to mention, George had the ace on the round. He got every single frag for Nouns.
Yeah, that was a great job by George. Exactly what Nouns needed to kick this off. And now that will put Nouns into a position where they win this, they can keep on going, they can keep on building, and try and take this to a third, which is if we do get there. So, really good stuff here for George and Nouns. And an opportunity for Nouns to rectify their disastrous finish on Overpass. But that's not the good start they wanted. George gets tagged by the scout of Maluk, and his scout proved to be very lethal in the last map, so they cannot rest easy on the Nouns side of things.
No.
We'll see if they're going to be able to really come back and get this done. Malbs might be thinking about going and showing off his deagle skills over towards Banana as well. Smoke will allow 60 to get out, but look at the health being hemorrhaged away on Nouns, just evaporating into thin air without any response, without really any spots either. This is just all free damage for Team 1.
Yeah, I like the scout setup here for Team 1. One towards lane and the other one at arch. So they can get that crossfire damage. Now it's going to be IDK backing off more towards Moto. 53 seconds left for Nouns to get their execute. 3 players going to pop out of the apps here. TRK a chance to punish up close and personal here with the 5-7. Misses all of his shots, though. Maluk hits a no-scope to stay alive. Eventually will go down, but look at this. Team 1's got 3. Only 60 and George left. They don't have much HP combined. Just one tag with that scout would have done 60 in, but he manages to evade it and get this bomb planted. Still, it's far from over for Nouns, and now they're facing off against the Galil of Malbs, and Malbs takes down George. It's all up to 60. He needs to reload. Goes beyond cover, but it's not enough time for him to chamber the round and get it fired off. So, Nouns Esports fall after taking the pistol thanks to the heroic efforts of George, and Team 1 strike back on their force buy to tie this one up at 1-1. Good news for Nouns, of course. They get the bomb plant. The bad news is it won't really yield a buy anyway.
And the worst news is that they lost to another force buy.
Yeah.
That's just... Once is forgivable. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. It's time for the shame on Nouns after that one. They cannot afford to let this happen again. They cannot afford to have another round like that for another week and a half at this point. These are rounds that need to be winning clean. These are rounds that need to be winning confidently. And they're rounds that they end up playing super scared in because all of a sudden they're just getting picked off one by one. That's something that they're going to have to go back and demo view. That's something that can't really necessarily be adjusted for right now unless Semphis has the read. There goes Cynic. So early pick goes. Why is Cynic all the way at arches? Alone with no support? It's the same kind of problem that Nouns had on their overpass T side. People just going segmented and alone and getting picked off for free.
Nice
Team 1
flashbang
are going
thrown.
to take those every day of the week.
Absolutely. At least Nouns have the entry here towards bracket, but Maluk is waiting arch with the A1S. The flash doesn't connect. In fact, 60 flashes George more than does Maluk, and Maluk swings around, gets the second. Finally will go down. Great shot from Jasmine to respond here. The thing is, 4v2, at least they get a couple of upgrades. An A1S and a Galil picked up. And in fact, the Galil just restored back into their hands. The A1S is the only true upgrade. 43 seconds left. Team 1 know where they're at. They just don't have much visibility on Arch as of right now. And I think they're just going to decide that, yep, we're staying. 2 players A, 2 B. They have to come to us anyway. TRK from Pit. Going to see this peek from 60 in just a moment. No, he decided to go back into cover. Now he'll peek around. He saw the shoulder of Jasmine for sure. He's just trying to make sure no one's going to come from maps. He relayed information to IDK, who's trying to cover him and support. IDK gets 1 and a second for TRK. Good communication and teamwork there from the 2Ks. And it's 2-1 for Team 1.
Pair of strikes for him.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
Yep. Now I wonder how many people are actually going to get that reference. It's pretty niche.
Probably not many, yeah. I'd say, isn't it a strike out, though, right? 2 strikeouts.
Yeah, I guess technically it's a strikeout. But
That's all right.
you got the point.
I did,
That's
I
what matters.
understood.
There goes a nade down bottom mid. Does a decent amount of Jasmine. Cynic takes a bit as well. George will deliver a ding through the window, but that will be a paltry amount of damage compared to what he took, which it was a finishing blow. Also, George has 7 kills to his name right now. The rest of his team has 2 combined, which a lot of that's due to the pistol ace, but IDK gets taken down a little bit more. Cynic still cannot find a finisher. This is a round which now really don't have anything though blocked at 250, and now just 2 players left alone. TRK and the rest of Team 1 just padding stats, and Bodolaz there with a pat stud.
60 is just going to crumple into a heap towards Banana. A little bit of BM coming through from Malps. As Team 1, after losing the pistol round, have struck back with a vengeance. Nouns will finally be on their first full-on buy-up, or maybe second. Either way, it's 4 AKs and a Galil coming through for them. Good chunky utility. Let's see what they can do with it. 3 players are going to head towards Banana. Couple into alt mid. Good Molotov thrown by Maluk, who's peeking out aggressively into mid with the off. And Pesa is joined by Malves at Banana. Nice nade toss here, but Nouns, but Malves manages to get the boost and the shot onto the head of Cynic. Now he's going to fall off. George looking for that trade, but another flashbang comes through, and that's a perfect one because it's going to be a while before George recovers. Now he does, but, I mean, they're able to get the cover, no problem at all. And Team 1 have consistently found that opening frag since round number 2.
Yeah, they're really starting to do a good job on the CT side, and it's going back to their successes on overpass as well. The same problems are plaguing Nouns, and the same benefits, the same positives are shining forward for Team 1. And even though these 2 maps are rather different in how that you play a CT side and how you play a T side, overpass and Inferno, it's looking very, very much the same for how the results are going, how the rounds are going. And if overpass is anything to look back on to give us a telltale sign of what's going to happen here, Team 1 are going to have a really good CT half. They already picked off Jazzpimp as well. A late take in towards B with 3 players here is not going to go well for Nouns unless they're able to brawl their way forward. And one's been spotted in towards Grill. Great flash coming in from the new box player.
They're not clearing flower pots.
Down. Easy for ball on flower. The time is running out, so is the health. And down to 60. And he goes down. Nice, easy round for Team 1. And at this point, Nouns, do what you can to scrape away with 5. But this T side it's underwater.
I mean, it's, again, the same story for Nouns as it was yesterday. George is playing phenomenally. He's doing very well map after map after map. Their most consistent player, but everyone else is just invisible most of the time. That's not the recipe for success here for this Nouns esports side, or any team, really. CASA is going to get naded to almost oblivion here, down to 21 after 2 connect with him, and he almost takes down Cynic before he gets dropped by the Tech 9 headshot. Malps is right there for the trade, so they're still even, as Nouns esports are looking to work their way into alt mid, and they have. Now they're into window room. Malps, still the sentry at Banana. Behind the panel, peeks around, no 60s at the half wall, so he's waiting for the peek to come through. Nade connects on the 60, takes him on 36. The Molotov almost traps him, but it doesn't matter anyway. Mob sprays him down with the AK, and this round quickly getting under control by Team 1. Oh, mortars.
Great nade stack, and B-Will's just trying to get something done damage-wise. He does damage, but he can't get a kill. So things getting worse and worse for Nouns, with every compounding round going the way of Team 1. And for Team 1, there's nothing they really need to change.
No.
Everyone's showing up when they need to. IDK's at 10-1, so he's having himself a moment right now. 3 players on Team 1 have above 100 ADR, which I don't think I know the last time that's happened, aside from like a pistol round. I don't think I've seen that 5-6 rounds into a game before. And
I mean, yeah, they've only lost 1 player over the last 4 rounds at most. In round number 4, they lost no one, and they get off to a hot start here. It's a buy round. This is a buy round for Nouns, and it looks like an eco with how much damage has already been done in the early going. 60 gets naded down to 63. Evil's at 52. Now he is dropped by IDK. George engaging too. This is just catastrophic for Nouns. Finally, at least George gets the headshot onto IDK, but they're in a 4v2, and they aren't... I mean, they have time on their side at least, but to lose that much manpower and not really have much to show for it so early in the round is extremely problematic.
it's very problematic, and it's just a symptom, I think, of the greater problem for Nouns. And if this isn't patched by the time the RMR comes around, they are not going to win a map.
Yeah.
Team 1's a team that's also going to be at the RMR. And a team that probably isn't going to be slated to make it through. That's a good shot from George, but look what comes of it.
Yeah, no, he pulled at the utility when he went around the corner. Should have just kept the gun on it. Might have even had a third for himself. But George is the exciting player right now for Nouns. Everyone else has not done anything in their 60. Falling by the wayside at 3K for Mobs. And it's appropriate that 60 is the player that remains alive and is focused on in the waning moments of that round, because he's usually the player who's popping off consistently. He's so very strong, but as of late, at least this week, because he was very, very good at Fragadelphia. This week, nothing. I think fatigue's hitting the team.
Fatigue might definitely be a big factor here. Also, maybe a little bit of pressure. They're playing on the org now. They've got a land. They want to do a little bit more. Either way, definitely probably could use a couple of days off after this one. Nice nade stack onto 60, so a couple of picks for Malik to start this off, and it's just a bit of a half buy here for Nouns, so not really a full buy up for the T side. Still, Team 1 doing everything right, following the right protocol. Wait, look at the bomb, John. This was a thing that happened on Overpass where they would just leave the bomb in, like, T-spawn-ish a bit further down, but they don't even have the idea to go get the bomb put out of that round. That almost looked like they were just trying to get it over with.
The bomb, look, I understand leaving the bomb at the bottom of ramp or in that vicinity, but in T-spawn, that was a miscommunication. There's no question. You can't just drop it in T-spawn. It's such a run back to go and grab it. And it wasn't even a round where it looked like they were trying to set up for a bomb to be picked up, right? Usually in a slower paced round, you're going to leave the bomb back and try to find that entry and then go and grab it. In that one, they were charging on mid. They were trying to gain the space towards A in a round where they didn't really have a full-on buy-up. Weird decisions being made from Nouns esports. And I think you were right in saying at the end of the first map that they are their own worst enemy at this point. Cynic does manage to slip through here. They're not going to realize Mobs is at logs, though, so he gets one, but only one. Cynic finds the opener onto CASA, and then Mobs is dropped. So finally, they've got something going to the B site. There's the bomb in the typical position that I was talking about, at the bottom of ramp. Now you can grab it. Oh, Cynic gets caught in that Molotov a little longer than he would have liked, and even George gets tagged by it. Maluk spots out 60, but at least the bomb is able to get picked up and brought on over to the B site. Cynic finds himself another one, and finally someone else not named George is going to get some frags here. 2K for Cynic. IDK and Maluk can still pull this one back, though. They got the pincer attack coming through.
Yeah, but this is still a winnable situation for Team 1. This is a very winnable situation for Team 1. George, if he can get the kill into Maluk, can basically save the day here. But the nade is going to take him down considerably. The Molotov to flush him out of position. Maluk's got the sidearm out, but George is still able to win that fight. He's very low, so acidic. Nice swing from Jasmine about U-Box, though, and Nouns finally crack open a round. They have lost 7 straight prior to this moment. That one round was a pistol clutch. A 1v3 ace clutch by George. They finally get one back on the board. Let's see if that can build a little more confidence for Nouns. They get 5 out of this half. There is a chance for them. But Team 1 have done a magnificent job of stopping Nouns everywhere they go. That was the first... Oh, no. No. No.
Why is the bomb in T-spawn again? I don't understand this decision-making.
I don't either.
It's so weird. I don't know. Anyway, look, we'll see. Maybe they can find some space for themselves and they'll be able to go and recover it. 60 is going to be engaging into the apartments. TRK finds him. That's a 5v4, at least a trade into window by Jasmine. But TRK spamming through the wall. Jazz has to move, and TRK has his number. Now a 4v3. They still don't have the bomb. There goes George. B-Wills along with Cynic working up Banana. You have to wonder if they even realize it at this point. There we go. Now, Cynic is going to go and grab the bomb. They have the space gain towards B, but it's a long run to get back to the bomb site. And by that point, Team 1 might be able to isolate the space. Look where Maluk is. If he realizes that the bomb is back towards T-spawn, he should be able to have a freebie here. Luckily, at least for Maluk at this point, the timing is in his favor because he has no idea that Cynic is behind him.
And look at B-Wills. He's just marooned on site, too. Stuck trying to be a one-man army. He's in the Alamo. And he's going to be able to get one at the very least.
Is this the play? Sorry.
I mean, it shouldn't be. This should not work. This should not work. Cynic takes his time there because he's probably like, wait, what? They don't realize that this could not be a BN because we haven't planned it for the last 25 seconds. But it's all down to TRK now. Cynic swapped over to an M4 as well. Does not want the op in this situation. And it's going to come down to timing, whether or not this ends up as a one-on-one. The Shadow Show. B-Wills hits the spray a little belabored, but he connects it in the end. And Nouns escape with a round victory.
That's gross. I'm sorry. That's such a gross way to win a round.
Very ugly.
Oh my goodness. Going all the way back into T-spawn to grab the bomb. And I guess as a CT, you'll be like, why the heck would they go all the way back to T-spawn? Why would someone even be behind me in this situation after they already have a player on B? So perhaps they were thinking ahead that far, which would be surprising. But if they were, then good on them. But otherwise, that's more often than not going to be an extremely risky play, especially if you have a player posted up towards mid, and Maluk didn't push up to get in on a flank, then the bomb could have gone down before it even got to the B site. So, anyway,
but he's not expecting it to be in
no,
T-spawn.
Of course not. But there's so much that can go wrong in that type of situation. So
it should have gone wrong.
Yeah,
they shouldn't have won that round.
Weird. Look, they did though. So
yes. But it's not a reliable round.
No.
It's not one they can necessarily repeat or hope to repeat. They bring the bomb out of T-spawn this time, so baby steps. But look at the nade damage they're taking down. Banana 60 down to 30. And Jazz Pimp down to 73.
Mortar strikes are just coming through from Team 1. Round after round, the nades are on point. IDK still has one in his hands, and if he tosses it down Banana, might be able to find a frag for himself. Thing is, he's on the A site, so he'll probably not really engage in this. Speaking of the A site, Nouns have sent 3 players in that direction, and will have a 4th and a 5th more than likely. I think B-Will's going to grab the bomb. They'll leave Cynic behind for the time being to catch off rotations. And now they'll all head in towards A. 1 minute left. And here comes the util and the execute for Nouns.
It's raining in the molly in towards porch. TRK in the open has a gap around the smoke, but he could get caught by 6. The flash is going to come in, dodged by TRK. Now he'll just post up back on the balcony, playing anti-flash, relying on IDK to get the kills. He's going to get 1 and 2. Maluk's flash comes through to support, and IDK slings onto sight, strikes down another. Maluk has struck with the op, and Cynic's in a 1v4, gets another. Oh boy, if he could pull off the 1v4 here, this would be incredible. It's going to come down. They need a double team. Oh, it doesn't even matter. Malb's the headshot. And there's a round for Team 1, a very good one. And Nouns executing the 5-on-3 take towards A goes about as poorly as you could expect.
IDK, after the 3K, just dancing on top of the box, like, can't hit me, can't hit me. Eventually, finally goes down, but he attracts so much, attracts so much attention that Nouns Esports just didn't have another target to look at, and Malbs finishes things off. So, Team 1 going to get the 8. They've already taken the half. They're trying to make it better here. Nouns Esports, realizing they're in a position to get a pretty strong force buy through, will do exactly that. They're sending 5 players down Banana, and it works. Malbs gets overloaded. Molotov gets tossed on forward, but a nade from CASA makes it a 4v4, and that is going to hurt significantly because 2 players already lit. Look where IDK is coming from, too. If they don't clear underpass and watch this, he could easily punish. Even going around to alt mid is still very precarious for them. They don't suspect it at all. No one is clearing this. IDK could find himself 1, perhaps even 2 for free. Oh, look at the info he's gaining, Austin.
I love this so much. I love this place so much. He's got both.
They have no idea.
Oh, they don't expect it. IDK out through under, gets struck in the back. So it's a 3v2 now. Winnable situation for Nouns, technically. But they still have to get past TRK and Maluk on site. Maluk's got the op posted up towards apartments. The smoke he could just go forward in front of and help support IDK, or TRK rather. That's exactly what he does. Good
Nice
nade on the
nade.
B-Wells up in the halls. The Molotov will actually be held off on. Cynic coming up lane might be able to take out the opper, but this is a very solid hold still for Team 1. The utility telegraphing this pace might make the rotations. Well, the ops revealed itself. Cynic's got to be careful to close the top cold box, and TRK does not get cleared at all. B-Wills drops down into the fire. He gets roasted and finished off by the op. A mercy kill from Maluk. 9-3 in favor of Team 1. And,
Yeah, Molotov.
well,
Sorry.
it's just those couple of rounds that stand out as an outlier, and arguably in more ways than one as to why those are outlier rounds for Nouns.
I'm just going to say he still would have died to that Molotov. There was no escaping it, and the round was over the minute he jumped down, and it was thrown. So, Team 1 doing a great job on the defense. In fact, IDK moving away from his stagnant position on the site proper and pushing up, completely surprising Nouns Esports. Jasmine's going to get connected on from the Optimal Luke. Luckily, it was not a clean shot, and he survives with 3 HP. Just a pistol buy-up coming through for the Nouns Esports squad. And they try to go for that aggressive take of Banana again, but it doesn't work out as well this time. The utility is rebuffing them. Flashbang gets thrown. Molotov into a smoke. So that means that they can step perhaps a little bit more forward. But still, Team 1 playing this so very well. The utility's been paced well, at least up to this point it has been. Now they're actually a little lighter than I would expect. Only a smoke, 2 flashes, and a nade. But they do have the advantage in terms of firepower.
The Tech 9s might be able to overwhelm if they push the right angle, especially with the lack of utility here for Team 1. And it looks like it will be an A-end from Nouns, as they are grouping up for this take. Slow and steady is the play here. And now they're getting ready. Utility dropped by 6C out the window to flood on into this site. Maluk's got to be careful. If he misses a shot or even hits one, he can be victim to the second player around the corner. If the F1 peek him, the flash is late. It doesn't connect on the Maluk, but he is caught and finished off nicely. TRK, the lone defender on the site. Now Sid's just charging in with the op in hand. 1 and 2 for TRK. And B-Wolves will finally put him down, but the bomb is going to go down at the very least. That's kind of a bare minimum of what Nouns wanted. Now, there is a bit of a chance, but it's a very slim one still. The op, the M4 are picked up, but the health is very low, and the utility is definitely not there. 60 takes some damage already. And Pace is coming in for maps. He's got 1 for sure. He spotted out both, and 60 might get 1 Pyrrhic victory kill. Consolation frag, but Team 1 can do no wrong right now.
Yeah, both Nouns players got caught looking in the same direction. I mean, credit to them for getting on the bomb site and finding the plant, but they just took so much damage from the util and were chipped away at to the point where 4 of the 5 players were so very low on HP, and it weren't tough targets to be finished off as they were trying to get into that site. So Team 1 hit double digits. Everything going exactly to plan for them. Phenomenal CT side. They're already pretty good on Inferno CT side. I think they win 58% of their rounds, but this has already surpassed that. So that bodes very well as they head on over to the T side in a couple. And Malouk gets the opener despite being flashbang. Just great timing, peeking around, dropping B-Wills. Good job by George to at least find the trade in Boiler, but Nouns Esports need to grab that bomb, and there it is. They've got it on their back now. And they've got 3 players with lane control and apps control, so they could very well take this round if they hit their shots. IDK will go down. Pesa finds the trade. He's trying to get another one here, and he does! Pesa, the monster, is able to bring things within reach for Team 1, and now it's a 1v1. Malbs up against Sixy. HP advantage in his favor. Has only a flashbang while Sixy has 2 flashes and the nade. The thing is, the bomb is not in Sixy's possession. And Malbs, I believe he knows where it is, and he's just going to rotate around perhaps to the bottom of mid to try and catch Sixy off guard. Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing. It's a fantastic play because he knows how many angles Sixy has to clear out. The question is, does the timing play in his favor? Sixy will have no idea here. Absolutely none.
He's got to go grab the bomb at some point.
Why doesn't Mob stay? Mobs?
I think Mobs is thinking he's rotating around through alt.
Maybe.
Or is he just going to go sit in apps and just be like, haha, peekaboo, you're dead, when 60 goes to plant the bomb?
I think he's expecting rotation to be.
He is. And he's right.
Yep.
What a read from Mobs.
Just he's a step ahead of 60 throughout the entire 1v1.
I'll give him 2 steps, if not 3.
Yeah.
And I was hoping that would come down to a firefight because it's arguably 2 of the best aimers in the server.
Yeah.
Mobs just uses his brain. Really smart play from him.
Big brain Mobs.
Big brain Mobs.
And it's one of his best maps so far in the qualifier, too.
It is. That's a good thing. I think Overpass he was also quite good on.
Yep.
So, looks like he's finally waking up, which is a very good thing for Team 1 and a scary prospect for ATK as they're the next ones in line. As Nouns are getting mowed down again. George and Jasmine go first, and the nade's going to do more damage into 60 and to Cynic. It's looking like a 12-3 half in favor of Team 1 on the CT side of Inferno. John, it's almost time to get ready for Team 1 ATK.
Yeah, feels like it. Nouns falling completely flat here on their map pick as TRK picks off another one. That is 60. B-Wills and Cynic, the last 2 standing. They're going to try for the B hit. Smoke going to get tossed for the cross. But Pace is on flower pots, and they haven't really been clearing this out very well on their B takes. And again, they're going to overlook it. Pesa should be able to spot out Cynic as he moves toward the site. No! Good job by Cynic, in fact, dodging the visibility of flower pots, and Pesa will still laser focus towards top of banana. It's still going to be a far cry here for Nouns Esports, but at least this makes it viable as they manage to get the bomb planted. B-Will's lined up for a potential frag towards construction, but no. Malbs denies him. Only Cynic left, and, well, at least he gets one onto Malbs. Has to walk into the fire if he wants to peek this one, but the flashbang's perfect. Gets another one at least. Thing is, that's it.
That is it. That's a 12-3 half in favor of Team 1. They win the pistol. It's pretty much done. So as we get ready to head into half number 2, Team 1 with the full steam ahead, speed, full advantage. So we'll see you for half 2 in a second. That was a mighty fine half from Team 1. 12-3. I think that's all right. It's Boggs and JRT on the call, and Team 1 are storming to a rematch against ATK. Nouns behind the 8 ball, and anything else that would put them at a disadvantage at this point, because this is a nigh impossible wall to climb, and IDK will already open it up nicely. 60 and Cynic traded back on this brackets pop, though. A good flash from B-Wills to support, but still, it's hard to count Team 1 out of any situation the way they've been playing. Yeah. So I have to fear for Nouns, despite this man advantage on the pistol round, and B-Wills is getting run down by Malouk, who jumps around the corner. Was that a burst fire kill?
It was a burst fire.
Wow.
Wow.
That's ego.
No
That's
kidding.
Ego peak.
And now IDK catches 60 trying to rotate around. They were convinced that Team 1 were going to go to the B site, and George was already towards Banana. Now, with that frag on a 60, they rotate back. They get the plant onto A, and after it started off so very well for Nouns, it just falls by the wayside. Malouk with the burst fire. Literally explicitly switched to the burst fire to get that frag, and I'm pretty sure he didn't necessarily need it, but hey, when you're that close, all 3 bullets will likely connect, and it'll do tons more damage per click. George, coming around this corner. Trying to get the headshots, finds one. That's IDK. Doesn't have a clue where Pace is. Now he knows. And he survives long enough potentially to try and get this defusal, but no. Pesa hits him with another headshot, another 2K for the Brazilian. 13-3 in favor of Team 1.
13-3, trying to make it 14-3. With only pistols up against them. Scratch the only pistols.
George is the new Negev player, by
George
the way.
is the new Cynic.
Yeah, exactly. He used to be Cynic that by the Negev. Now it's just George.
Now, I want to see both George and Cynic with the Negev in one map at the same time. Oh, that's a big nade from Nouns, or rather from Team 1, and Nouns' nade didn't do anything at all.
I mean, down Banana, it's not the worst gun to have, right? Because it's just literally one lane that you have to go down. So the Negev spamming away in that direction could catch a team off guard. So it's okay. It's not expensive. And if you're going to force up anyway, might as well. But the thing is, Team 1 aren't going there. They only have one player in that direction. Everyone else is leaning towards A.
Jaspimp might be able to get a deagle shot if Cynic draws all the aggro. Jaspimp has a shotgun deagle. And a second on a TRK. Hold the phone, because there might be something for Nouns to work with here. They don't get any upgrades, though, and the Negev will mow down Malouk. That, yeah, one singular lane of entry works out well. But Pace and Mobs, you can't count them out of any situation the way they've been playing so far. Get the Moto and the Arch smoke down. They're going to try and isolate these fights on site. B-Will's very low on health. The 5-7, though, up on the box will be very dangerous. Pace is jumping with the Galil, and Cynic on site with the Deagle gets 2 headshots, and Nouns find a way to stay alive and win the Force Buy. Not going to get too excited yet, because they have failed epically against pistols previously today. But there might be a start for something.
Yeah, and then a Negev worked out there for George. In fact, not even holding top of Banana, decides to go for the boost, which is also not a bad decision because you can just have a clear shot with all of those bullets spamming away in one direction, and it works out with that one. And then afterwards, the Deagle of Cynic on site takes care of the rest. But those Brazilian Deegs are also pretty scary to go up against, and there's TRK finding the first one. Cynic peeking around the corner looking to punish. There's 1, 2, maybe the third. No, he tries to pull up the sidearm. He can't, and TRK gets another one. 2v2, they're going to have a clear path to the A side. In fact, IDK is still waiting towards mid for rotations to come around. Eventually, he's going to have to join his teammate. But he's expecting a player to push down Banana. A little bit tough for TRK, and that's why he's leaning more towards mid. To hopefully be supported by IDK. Spotted out the players. I mean, IDK has to hurry up and get here. Finally, he will. TRK does, as mentioned, lean back towards mid because it's planted for this position. Peeking around back and forth. Nouns have to stick this one. 60 could get it. They don't realize he's sticking the defusal, and he does find it. Wow. A risk taken by Nouns. 60 could stay alive with the A1S, and he does. Good job by Nouns Esports reading the situation well, and TRK just didn't plant it with invisibility enough for the position that he was holding.
You need to take risks at this point if you're Nouns.
Yeah.
That was a good risk to take, a one that works out well. The kit was not expected, and it worked out well. I mean, they had the sound cue. They had the idea that somebody was at least tapping. But that's the thing, too. IDK was too far away. He wasn't there to help. Oh, no. Jasmine's going so far aggressive without support. This could end very poorly. IDK's already opened things up. The trade is there with the nades, and Jasmine's trying to stay alive. He drops the bomb. The pistol's out, and he cannot get more. It's a 3v3, and already Nouns are losing players that they cannot afford to lose. And oh, baby, oh, mama. The Deagles are shining again. And B-Wills is just tunnel vision on this boiler area. He's got to be careful not to get caught out from middle. And Nouns in a 2v3 against the pistols. What's the problem again against these pistols? Pushing alone.
Yeah. I mean, look, Jaspin misses the sprays. If he hits both, then I'm okay with the push. But the problem is he just can't lock down his targets and then gets overloaded after only finding one frag for himself. And afterwards, Nouns continue to get aggressive, like you mentioned, and the bodies fall by the wayside. Some nice shots, admittedly, from the Deagles coming through, but Nouns perhaps letting this one slip away. They have no idea where Team 1 is at this point. Sixy will realize, because with all this util coming through, there's going to be a BX here. Tosses the nade on board. Should do some damage, and it does. Can he get a frag is another question. Spams through. Damage done, but B site has been taken. Sixy continues to spam on forward, but doesn't want to take the initiative just yet. They have no flashbangs, but a couple of smokes and nade could help them out. That nade tossed in the right direction might be able to take down mobs. Oh, they're both in a dark corner here.
Oh boy. That's a big nade. One gone, another to the red. But this is still winnable for Team 1 here. He's got the crossfire
No
with
way.
TRK. Pesa can swing for the last. They're just distracting and buying time. 60 with one, but the time is fleeting. It's running out. He does get the kill and has enough time for the defuse, I believe. Yeah, he's
he
got
does.
it. About a second and a half to spare, but another costly round victory for Nouns, and it was something that bit them on overpass as well. Their CT rounds weren't able to really stabilize in terms of economy, and Team 1 are always a round or two away from resetting Nouns completely.
Yeah.
At this stage of the game, Nouns can't afford that, quite literally.
Only one player left alive in the last 2 rounds for Nouns. You're absolutely right, Austin. Look at this buy-up. They won the previous one, and they have to settle for a Bison and an MP9 around an AK and A1S and the op. At least the utility situation is good for them. But that wasn't the full-on buy-up for Team 1. This is. So we'll see. An opening op frag would help immensely if Cynic can nail that down. George does like to use the Bison. He's going to be playing towards half ball. Incendiary flies on through. Team 1 are able to dodge it. That means George can peek around and know that no one will be at logs. Look how close they've gotten. Molotov's going to get thrown in. George still waiting. Cynic does find that opener, and George is good for one before being traded out by mobs. The thing is, B is so very light in terms of presence. It is only Sixy here, who's already been lit down to 23. Luckily for him, there are no nades, and he's able to spam freely. The thing is, he has to connect on those shots and only gets one onto the body of Maluk before going down. So a 3v3, and the bomb plant is assured, Austin.
Bombs sticking away, and Mobs is in a great spot to kill them as they come on through Church. Jazz Pimp will get the first bullet to the brain. B-Will is the next in line. Has Maluk to deal with as well now, so this double up towards Church to really hold Maluk. Takes a little bit of damage, but there's Mobs
Great
doing
setup.
what he does best, hitting headshots. Had one of the highest headshot percentages in the world for a couple of years, so you know this guy likes to tap heads, and Cynic at this point should just run. And he'll walk out. Probably a wiser decision, but the point still stands. Save the op for Cynic, but it's 14 on the board for Team 1, and the economic situation for Nouns is mentioned heading into this one. It's bad. It's real bad. They'll have the op,
Yeah.
and maybe a P250, a 5.7, and a couple other guns.
It's atrocious. Why? They're forcing up. B-Will's just forced up. Is everyone going to?
They have to.
Okay. I mean, yes, sort of. You could opt to just say, okay, we'll go for the half buy and try to stop them from getting a 15th. But here, I mean, if you fully invest and you lose this round, your loss bonus is 1,900 with a 15-6 deficit. That's game over. And more often than not, anyway.
Yeah, it should be. If a 15 to 11 is usually game over. 15 to 12 is statistically still game over. 15 to 6, 15 to 7. You have almost no chance. The op from Cynic that could have given the opening goes a little too early, doesn't connect. I believe that would have been a leg shot anyways, given the angle. But it's not that really ends up mattering. The nade's going to come in towards apartments. Jaspimp actually has heard some noise, and he's going to get the kill on Pesa. Can't get the AK upgrade. But he'll move forward now, knowing TRK is over towards stairs. B-Wills joins him, and then they both back away together. So already a little bit of hit and fade from Nouns. And Team 1 might want to think better of this A-side take. They seem content for it, though.
Yeah. 3 players ready and waiting on the Nouns Esports side. Team 1 do have a lot of util to use here, so they're going to get some flashbangs, some Molotov, tossed on people before they decide to get in from the apps. Jaspimp looking to punish, standing on the railing here. If he can get one, that'll give Nouns, or at least assure Nouns, a man advantage briefly. He's got a player by his side as well, with some util primed and ready. Jaspimp does indeed find that one, and not even close to being traded. Goes in towards the apartment, spots out another player. All the information on the side of Nouns Esports. Let's see if Team 1 can pull this one back. Jaspimp takes down another after grabbing the AK. He's got 4 now, as only Maluk is left standing in a desperate situation, and he will get dropped by B-Wills. What a play and a round by Jaspimp, rotating from mid towards apartments, shutting down everyone that came his way, and even getting the AK upgrade towards the end. So, Nouns Esports, stay alive, Austin. It was a do-or-die situation, obviously, and at least they did get the job done.
They'll get a buyback up again, Nouns, and this time much stronger than the last. Up against an AK, some pistols for Team 1. And Team 1's going for a hero AK on pace, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact they've been able to do so much damage with the pistols against Nouns historically throughout today. That why not go for a hero AK? You probably have a good chance at winning this one. TRK can't connect the Tech 9 spray, and George will double down. Get support from Sixy a little bit later, and Utility will force the Team 1 members away from Banana. But they have come back in greater numbers. But Sixy has dealt with the next. Pesadello holds the line for Mailbox. The hero AK has struck for 2. The B side is opened. And aggression from Nouns again, potentially their undoing. As the bomb's gonna go down with 1:10 on the clock. And all of Nouns coming in through Banana, making all the noise in the world. Pesa knows they're coming here, and he's gonna get caught on the retreat. I don't know why he didn't just try and fight with that flashbang. Now
Yeah,
Maluk has to 1v3 this. He's got the spray, but he can't connect it. 8 rounds on the board now for Nouns, and a bit more of a confident one. Well, I mean, I guess it should have been. It's against the pistols, but that hasn't necessarily been the case so far today.
Yeah, I think Pace just got caught, right? He was transfer the flashbang and retreat at the same time. If he stays in fights, he probably finds the same fate. So he wanted to try and get into cover, give himself a better chance of success. It just doesn't happen. The good news for Team 1 is they get the hero AK bought up in the previous round, but the bomb plant comes through, so that'll help their economy recover in a very good way. And that means 3 AKs, the Galil and the Op, and pretty much full util. A couple of pieces missing, but that's not going to fuss them too much. Now Nouns looking to be aggressive once more, but Maluk gets the first, and now the other player needs to retreat. He will get back to cover. That's Jaspimp. But Maluk's been so very good at delivering those opening op frags. Tons of util sailing in here down Banana, and Malbs just barely survives with 3 HP towards logs. I think Nouns could overlook this position because of how much util was tossed in that direction. They might have assumed that a player, if they were there, would already be dead. We'll see. Either way, another frag does come through. That's TRK, and he finds himself a second as well. Only Sixy and George left standing opposite sides of the map. IDK trying to close the gap against Sixy, and Sixy at least spots him out, but that's still more information gained for Team 1, who have a significant numbers edge.
That's a nice one from Sixy to try and bring this one back. He can still hold, getting reinforced by George as well. The op from Maluk will finish him off, and there goes George's Pesa pops out with the Malbs flash. 7 rounds in a row required now. 4 Nouns to bring this one to overtime, or else we're getting the ATK Team 1 rematch in the final with 1 spot available at ESL Challenger Rotterdam. This one is coming down to a last-ditch buy where George has bought his 4th Bison of the night. B-Wills is a 5-7. FAMAS for Cynic. The utility is quite sparse. There's a distinct lack of a defuse kit, and the Bison goes down first, trying to take a long fight down Banana. 60's around the corner as well. Malbs will deal with that. Cynic falls. Malbs picks up a second. It's all down to B. It's a 5-7 1v5 to stay alive, and well, John, I think we're getting ATK Team 1.
I mean, we already had a player leave the server on Nouns side, so
Oh.
yeah, I think they're
Was it
done. It was. I don't think he's happy, to say the least, as He leaves the server before B-Wills even has a chance to try and clutch this one, but are they going to try and knife
out.
him?
They tried
Really?
to he tried to knife him.
Look, it's over. I don't think TRK's messing around here. There we go. 16-8 in favor of Team 1. It wasn't a terrible CT side coming through from Nouns. The thing is,